Using research, in-text citations, paraphrasing, summarizing, and quoting. What is an in-text citation? What is a paraphrase, and how do you cite it in text? What is a direct quotation, and how do you cite it in text? In MLA style, this type of citation briefly identifies the source for the readers and enables them to locate the source of information in the alphabetical reference list at the end of an assignment or article. An in-text citation is required for every source that you use in your paper, including personal communication. The following is a brief tutorial that covers the basics about in-text citation, including why they're used, when they're used, and how they are used. But first, it's important to know why we use in-text citation. Well, that's simple. In-text citation gives the reader, your audience, a trail to follow to find where you found the information you're borrowing. So let's go ahead and follow the trail. But before we can do that, we need to define what it is we're talking about, right? Paraphrase is to restate the words of another, to use someone else's ideas in your own words. A paraphrase is cited in text by providing the author's last name and the page number if available. For example, if I wanted to paraphrase this information about Amelia Earhart, I would use the author's main ideas, but put them into my own words. I would include the author's last name, the page number in the parentheses, followed by a period. So if you see the top here is the original text, and this is the paraphrase. Paraphrasing, however, is not the only option. You can also quote the author word for word in your essay. To quote directly is to use an author's exact words, exactly as stated in the resource. A direct quote is cited in text by surrounding the quote with quotation marks and then providing the author's last name and the page where you found the quote. For example, if I wanted to directly quote the original text, I would place quotation marks at the beginning and the end of the information that I am quoting. I would then cite the author's last name and the page number where I found my quote in parentheses. Note the author's name and page number, followed by the period after the parentheses. There are a few different ways that you can use your citation information in your sentence. The basic rule is to remember that if you include the citation information in your sentence, then you don't include it in your in-text citation, unless there are page numbers. This page provides you a few examples. All of these are acceptable versions of giving credit in text. Notice the difference in these examples. So remember, there are two main types of in-text citations. A paraphrase is using someone else's ideas in your own words. The in-text citation requires the author's last name and the page number. A direct quote, on the other hand, is taken directly from the source, word for word. The in-text citation requires the author's last name and the page number of your source. You must include quotation marks around the quoted information. If the readers wanted more information from the source I just used in my paper, the information in the in-text citation gives them enough information to get them to the source listed on the works cited page. Right here. This will lead us to the citation on the works cited page. Right here. Same name. This citation takes us to the source's information on the works cited page, and here it is. Now we know exactly where to find the source, and because the in-text citation also gives us page numbers, we know exactly where the information was found. So let's look at the path of our trail again. The in-text citation leads us to the works cited page. The works cited page leads us to the exact location of the source. Pretty simple, right? But what if my source does not have an author? Give the information that allows the reader to follow the trail to the works cited page. Like here. Here's an article that doesn't have an author. And this is what it would look like in your sentence. Remember, the in-text citation is always whatever comes first in the citation on the works cited page. Alright, so what if there isn't a page number, like on a website? Again, you just give the information that allows the reader to follow the trail to the works cited page. Like here, on my works cited page, there's a website that doesn't have any page numbers. You would just include the author's last name. So let's take a look at what that would look like in your sentence. End of your sentence here, author's last name, parentheses, period. So what if I use a signal phrase with the author's name to introduce the text I'm borrowing? You just provide the rest of the information needed in the parenthetical citation. So let's take a look at what that would look like. If you look here, according to Jones is my signal phrase. Since I already provided the author's name, I don't need to do it in the citation. I have only included the page number of the publication in parentheses. If I didn't use his name in the sentence, I would need to cite after the sentence, as the second example shows. The first time you refer to an author, use his or her first and last name. Any time after that, just use the last name. How do in-text citations work when I'm using a direct quotation? Well, all the same rules apply, but you'll also want to add quotation marks. For example, here you will notice that the quotation marks are used to enclose the borrowed words, and the period goes after the parenthesis. And finally, just remember, use in-text citation when you summarize, paraphrase, or directly quote someone else. Basically, anytime you borrow someone else's words, ideas, or information, you need to cite it. We've covered where, how, when, and why to use in-text citation. Now, good luck on your projects.